So thank you for coming to the cabinet meeting. I'll start the meeting. Are we okay to start? Are we ready? Thank you.
Live feeds up and running, Chair. You can start whenever you wish.
Here, Martin, thank you. Are there any apologies for absence? I think you're all here. Well, councillors, our officers, I think. Any declarations of interest? Don't think so. For this agenda. Item 3, minutes of the last meeting.
I'll just say to Chair, please. On the third bit down, declaration of interest, we've got Councillor J Birkin for caveat, it should be cabinet, in relation to the agenda, but in there they've also put that he rented a property from Rickmansworth. That's not quite right. It's not Joe. It's actually Steve. That,
It weren't me that made that declaration.
So we need those amendments then. Are we happy to agree to those minutes?
Do you move them, Chair?
Thank you. Item 4, the council plan, 23-27 performance report. That's in my name, but I think Kath is there to present it.
I don't mind, Chair. So I'm happy to take the report if you wish me to take the report.
Yes, please.
So it's in the usual format. You can see that this period is covering October to December. You've got an appendix for each of the council objectives. So there's plenty of good things in here. You'll notice under Live Well, there's lots of activity being taking place around Dronfield Active Swimming Pool. Lots of families took part in the winter walking trail in Clay Cross. The Walking into Communities has received additional funding of just under £36,000. So that'll be able to extend that for the further 4 years. And there was a successful litter prosecution in Clay Cross. So that just gives you a flavour of some of the things that's happened under Live Well. Really good to see this time that 4 empty long-term properties have come back into use. So this is a really challenging target. The target is for 6 for the year, and so it's obviously great to see that 4 have been brought back in Q3, and we know a lot of work goes into that behind the scenes, so that's obviously one to celebrate. Regarding the metrics under Live Well, may not look as positive this time because we've got quite a few at exception, but no cause for concern there. 2 of the leisure ones will be fine for the year end. Just a bit of a dip at Q3 due to pool closures with refurbishment work and all the improvements that we're making to the leisure centres. So no reason to be concerned about those 2 leisure exceptions. We know we've had some issues around targeted proactive littering and dog fouling patrols and the community patrols, largely due to resources in that team. That has improved at Q3 compared to Q2, which is good. I'm expected to get back up to full strength at Q4. Staffing issues have more or less been resolved there, so that's been quite a challenging time for that team, but they're more or less back on track now, which is great. A great place to work. You'll note there's some updates in there regarding the Vision Derbyshire Startup Programme and the Derbyshire Accelerator Programme. So they're largely positive, especially around the Vision Derbyshire ones. And there's obviously been a lot of activity on internal recruitment regarding Clay Cross Active, and they've also secured food safety course as well going forward. So an external recruitment will start there as well. Regarding access to good public services, again, lots of good things here to note. Reduction in homelessness and also reduction in the spend. That's obviously great that that's been going in the right direction for some time now. Another set of great satisfaction results for leisure, and obviously, as we know, the improvements around Dronfield Active Swimming Pool. Regarding the metrics for this, a really good suite of indicators this time. So all the metrics are on target, and those that are not got specific targets, but with monitoring the direction of travel, they're also going in the right direction. So a really positive suite of indicators for public services at Q3. And then lastly, the environment. Notable achievements, Dronfield Active receiving substantial assurance for the public sector decarbonisation scheme financial audit. And obviously a lot of things been happening there with securing solar panels and things like that. And I think once again, largely a positive update regarding Clay Cross Low Carbon Challenge Fund. So As usual, Chair, there's a huge amount of information in this report, and it's very good to see some of the positive updates regarding some of the metrics and direction of travel generally.
Thanks for that, Kath, and like you've said in the report, you've highlighted some of the things. Like I say, a couple of blips, but they mostly down to refurbishment at Gym at Eckington and the swimming pool at Dronfield, which I think have gone down well. Now they've been done. But I think there is a lot to be positive as well in there. And I think not least, I think met Lee Pepper yesterday, and as far as I understand, we've got nobody in bed and breakfast now still, Jane, have we?
That's right.
And that's a marvellous result.
Really,
I think
really
most
impressive.
councils
Yeah.
are struggling with that, and I found out from a conference there's certain areas that are really struggling with that. It's costing a lot of money, so thanks for that team. I think they're doing a great job dealing with that, and we have got some of our accommodation, some families, but we're not paying bed and breakfast for them. And also, as mentioned in there, I think 2.4.2 was a lot of satisfaction with the leisure that links into the stuff as well that we've got. But within the full report, this is a black and white one, but it looks a lot better in colour. That there is a lot of stuff happening, isn't there? And that format, I think, really good. How we, the pizza as we call it, but it does bring out the positives and where we making a difference, I think. So I'm more than happy with that. And is there any questions before I move the recommendations or comments? Steve?
It's not a question, Chair. It's just I think it's an excellent report. You know, there's brilliant progress in there. I know it's mentioned Dronfield Active quite a bit, but we should note somewhere that Eckington Active has had quite a refurbishment, and it's proved very popular, I think, in around Eckington with the users. So I know it's not written in this report, but we shouldn't lose sight of that. You know, it's something to be celebrated in the district.
Yeah, thanks for that. So with that, can I move the recommendations that we note the progress against the council plan objectives? We're all in favour of that? Yeah. Thank you. And well done, everybody. That's good. Item 5, the Treasury Management Strategy Update, April to December. Over to you, Pat.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a revised Treasury Management Code has been made quarter reporting of indicators mandatory from April. And whilst updates have been provided for many years, more detail is now required. Therefore, a separate report for Treasury Management will be produced alongside the budget monitoring report each quarter. You will note in the report that there are no compliance matters or risks to raise in this quarter. I'm happy to take any questions, but the recommendation is that we note the report.
Any questions or comments for Pat? I'll second that. Are we all happy to note that report?
Yeah.
Thank you, Pat. And then we'll move on to the medium-term financial plan, budget monitoring.
Yes, the purpose of this report, Chair, is to update the Cabinet on the financial position of the Council at Q3. The general fund is 383,000 underspent at the end of December. Main variances are detailed in the report at 24 to 26. Pay budget savings make up a large proportion of the underspend. However, there are also underspends in utilities, fuel, telephones, and waste costs. These underspends are partially offset by the reduction in income from crematorium fees and commercial rental income. These are minor variations with no cause for concern. It's worth noting that the shortfall in the revised budget of 664,000 has now been reduced to 263,000. This will, of course, be dependent on actual financial performance at the end of the year. We are feeling pretty certain at the moment that it should balance at the end of the year. The HRA has a small underspend of 91,000. There are very few variances of note on the HRA, so I will just point you to the Appendix 3, which provides the quarter 3 position. Appendix 4 details the capital expenditure incurred on a scheme-by-scheme basis. Overall, the variance is 13,154,000 of quarter 3, which is not unusual for capital schemes, which often span financial years. Details of variances can be found at 215 and 216. The main variance in this quarter is in relation to the town centre regeneration project at Clay Cross. This is expected to be on track by the end of the year. The recommendations I wish to move, Chair, are that we note the monitoring report for quarter 3.
Thank you, Pat. Any questions, Joe?
Chair, could I just ask, on pages 55 and 56, it highlights two salary underspends. Finance and resources underspend of 0.066 million on page 55 and growth and assets of 0.158 million on page 56. Any problems with service provision due to those underspends?
Yeah, Jane?
Do we say that one, Chair?
Yeah.
No, it's just the usual churn, so it's just people leaving. We accrue a vacancy before we recruit again. We're not aware of any particular pressures in that period, and we're monitoring them at SNT. We had a discussion just this Monday on that very subject, so we're keeping a close eye on what the market does and whether we're experiencing difficulties in filling posts. Nothing major at the moment.
Right, thanks, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
That's okay. Anything else you want to add, Jane?
No, thank you, Chair.
No, we're happy with that. I think again, it's a good report. We're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
So that's good. So are we happy to note that report then? Are we happy?
Yeah.
All in favour? Thank you. And then item 7, the UK Shared Prosperity Fund programme. Jane?
Thank you, Chair. It's trouble reading this, my eyes are open. As you'll be aware and recall, in 2022, North East Derbyshire was allocated, sorry, I can't, my eyes are going to do like 2,568,000, is that? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, near enough. 2,568,204 to deliver the UK Shared Prosperity Fund to run between October 22 and March 25. Programme's now coming to an end, and the Ministry for the Housing and Local Government Communities has advised that any funds not spent and delivering its outcomes by the 31st of March must be returned to the government offices. Officers continue to work to ensure that the risks for underspend are mitigated. 2025-26 is a national transition year for the UK SPF before the government determines how future funding schemes will be delivered. Confirmation of this is expected in June 2025. In this transition, EMCA has been designated lead funding authority for the regions of 25.17 million for 2025 and 2026 UK SPF monies. At its 10th of February 2025 board, EMCA agreed to distribute a proportion of the funds to local authorities based on the national funding formula, with 2.4 million revenue funds top slice for EMCA-led inward investment and business support and visitor economic work, whilst supplementing the capital allocation by 6.54 million. I don't know whether I realised I've been good or not, actually. As a result of North East Derbyshire has been awarded a 2025-26 UK SPF allocation of 1,050,67, 460,000, no, my eyes are going blurred again, 460,060 capital and 590,007 revenue. 4% of the total NEDDC allocation can be utilised for project administration, so that's 42,002. The council has been asked to coordinate the development of a programme which meets the national and EMCA UK SPF priorities as identified in Appendices 1 and 2. Whilst the timescales involved have limited the level of engagement to develop the programme, the proposed programme is believed to be deliverable within the financial year and compliant with the scheme priorities and rules, utilising the 4% administration allowance. Programme management activities leaves 1,008,065 to be allocated. The proposed priority themes and projects are detailed in Appendix 3 and include district parks, play areas and open spaces, strategic public realm improvements, safer communities, including youth engagement and crime reduction, exploring the district visitors economy, promotions and events, inclusive communities, including support to residents on issues including cost of living, energy efficiency, money and debt advice, and community participation. The shopfront enhancement scheme grants, business advice and skills development, including digital skills. The plan is subject to review and approval by MCA, who are expected to contact the council soon to confirm their approval and monitoring processes to enable as early as possible start from the 1st of April 2025. It is known that the council will receive the funding from MCA as a grant, and monitoring will be a 6-monthly basis. MCA will not be forward funding the local allocations, although each receiving authority may forward fund projects at their own risk, with the expectation that procurement rules and subsidy controls will be properly applied as required. Should MCA require any amendments to the plan, it is recommended that the sign-off is delegated to the Director of Finance and Resources and Section 151 officer in consultation with the leader, portfolio holder for growth and assets and managing director. Final element is to consider whether the council remains happy to be the accountable body for the Derbyshire Accelerator Service, commissioned on behalf of 6 district and borough councils across the county. With MCA determining that generic business support should be commissioned at local authority level rather than regional, all districts and borough councils across Derbyshire and Derby City Council have been in discussions whether the current Derbyshire Accelerator support contract, managed by NEDC and delivered through East Midlands Chamber, could be extended. The current contract and the procurement procedures allow for this. Agreeing this would allay any concerns that procurement of new services would create delivery gaps and service fragmentation across most of the county, significantly destabilising the support available to local businesses at a time of heightened global economic pressures for all sectors. Therefore, I move the recommendations, which are to approve the proposed North East Derbyshire 2025-26 SPF programme, the approval of variations to the final investment plan is delegated to the Director of Finance and Resources and Section 151 officer in consultation with the leader, the portfolio for growth and assets and managing director, should amendments be required by MCA. And finally, agree that NEDC remains the accountable body for the multi-authority Derbyshire Accelerator contract for 2025-26, subject to receiving a 4% administrative contribution from participating local authorities.
That's it. Thank you, Jane. That's great. And just a comment from me really is that I'd like to compliment Steve and his team really to just oversee all this. Spending £2.5 million not easy, Steve, is it? No. I wish that beat me. But it has been a project, and I don't think we're sending a lot back, are we? To the government.
Nothing.
So that's been a project in itself, hasn't it? To make sure that, you know, because things were slipping and stuff. So really well done on that. And I'm sure that we'll manage that extra £1 million along the lines that MCA's sort of set us out and stuff. So again, great. I think it's been a really good thing, that is. I know there's certain criteria we've got to work to and all that, but we have managed to make a difference with that money. And again, down to your team overseeing that. So well done. And let's spend the £1 million, the extra £1 million that we've got in a productive way.
Thanks to the team.
Yeah, that's right. So, do you want to say anything, by the way, Paul?
No, we'll just wait to hear from MCA and devise a programme that keeps everyone happy and makes a difference in the community.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. So, you've heard the recommendations. I'll take them. Are we all in favour of those recommendations?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. I think that's, are there any urgent items? I've not got any. And that's the exclusion of the public. But the public, have I got reading?
Yeah.
That the public be excluded from the meeting during discussion of the following items of business to avoid disclosure to them of exempt information as defined in Part 1 of Schedule 12A to the Local Government Act 1972 as amended by the Local Government Access to Information Variation Order 2006. The category of exempt information is stated after each article. Thank you very much.
The live feed is now ended, Chair. You're safe to proceed.
Thank you.